So, good morning. So, now that we've covered the Himalayas and the northern plains, the next section that we move to in terms of India's physiographic divisions, we have the Peninsular Plateau. Now, when we look at the Peninsular Plateau in India, first it's important for us to understand what is a plateau, which I think you would already know, right? But basically, it's like a small, high section that is higher than its surrounding land, has gentle slopes, and usually has like a flat top, right? So that is what we're saying is a plateau. Now, this plateau in India, the Peninsular Plateau, one, why is it called the Peninsular Plateau? Because it forms this area, right, which is surrounded by water on three sides. That is what a peninsula is, and therefore it's called the Peninsular Plateau. Now, the composition of this area, this land, is primarily crystalline, igneous, and metamorphic rocks. Crystalline and igneous rocks kind of similar. Igneous are those that are created after lava cools down. Metamorphic rocks form when igneous and sedimentary rocks combine. Crystalline rocks are, maybe you already know what a crystal is, right? But yeah, it's also formed due to change in igneous rocks. Now, again, when the chapter began, I mentioned about Gondwana land and how there used to be a larger supercontinent called Pangaea. So this entire region was formed basically when this Gondwana land, it kind of basically hit the tectonic plates on this upper area, right? Now the entire region here is has a lot of rounded hills, so not very uh, sharp pointed peaks, and shallow valleys, not very deep. And mainly we can divide it into two sections, which we overall divide by the Narmada River, right? So to the north of the Narmada River, we have the Central Highlands. To the south, we have the Deccan Plateau. Now, what I want is everyone to have this map here in front of them as we discuss it further, right? So, on page number 9, you have your map. As already mentioned before, this map is very crucial for you to understand. And for this chapter, you will need the map come what may, okay? So, if we look at the map, uh, and I also have one map here which we'll refer to again and again, right? Now, when we look at the map, you will see here that this entire region, the Malwa Plateau, Bundelkhand, Baghelkhand, and Chotanagpur Plateau, this is all of your central highlands, and all of this towards the south. This is all your Deccan Plateau, right? They've given far more divisions here than we are going to discuss, but just for a brief sense of what this area is like. So, firstly, where is it located? The Central Highlands, when we talk about, they're located north of the Narmada River, and it includes the Malwa Plateau, as we saw here, right? And the eastward extent includes areas. So eastward, as in as we move towards the east, we have the Bundelkhand and Baghelkhand region as well, and then further ahead we have the Chotanagpur Plateau, even further. And to the west, if we move, then this side you have the desert in Rajasthan, right? So this much in terms of location, this should be clear. Now, um, now I want you to look at the map in your textbook, because when we look at the what are the mountain ranges, right? So we've said that the plateaus have slightly high land, right? The land has a slope. So obviously there have to be some mountains or some hills here. So if we look at the map in your book, you'll see that to the south, so if we're saying this region here is mostly what your central highlands is, you can see the Malwa Plateau marked here. So then you have the Vindhya and the Satpura range. So Vindhya range is here, and then Satpura range is here, right? These are to the south, and then further to the north we have the Aravali ranges. So these are the various hills and mountains here. And when we look at the rivers, so some of them are given here, some of them are not. But you have the Chambal and the Betwa and the Kane and the Sindh rivers here. And these flow from the southwest, from here, to the northeast, right? And basically, what does it tell us? That the slope is going down here to the northeast, because that's where the rivers are flowing, right? Ultimately, they join other rivers and flow into the Bay of Bengal. If you come here to the south, here you have the Damodar River. So where the Hooghly is, somewhere here you have the Damodar River as well. So they all flow here into the Bay of Bengal. Now, if you look at the Deccan Plateau, firstly, as we saw in this map, it is south of the Narmada River, and again, so now you look at the map here, you will see the Deccan Plateau here marked as well. And now what are we saying? This is uh, it has a Satpura range to the north over here. The Mahadev, Kaimur and Maikal hills are on the eastward extension. So this region here, right, somewhere, so you can see the Mahadev hills here. All of this is other mountain ranges here. In the northeast, this region here, further here, it extends basically all the way here as well. Okay? All of this is part of what we consider to be the this Deccan Plateau. So this region is called the Meghalaya Karbi Anglong Plateau and North Kachar Hills. Now these in the northeast, you have the Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills here that run from west to the east. So you can see this here. Now, as already mentioned, when we talk about the rivers here, that we already mentioned those in the Central Highlands, right? So let's look at the rivers in the Deccan Plateau. Um, the rivers in the Deccan Plateau, basically, you have the Godavari, you have the Krishna, you have the Kaveri River here. Uh, yeah, so Kaveri, Krishna, Godavari, and Mahanadi, and all of these. So Mahanadi is here, Godavari is here, uh, Krishna is here, and the Kaveri River is here. All of these rivers, they flow into the Bay of Bengal, and we only have two rivers mainly that don't flow into the Bay of Bengal. Two main rivers. You have other smaller rivers as well, but basically the Narmada and the Tapi. There are two rivers that you will see that they flow into the Arabian Sea. Okay. Now, so I hope this much is clear, right? So you have the Central Highlands to the north of the Narmada River and the Deccan Plateau to the south. Now, moving onwards from this main two divisions, if you see the Deccan Plateau region also has other sections marked here, and those are your Western Ghats here and the Eastern Ghats here, right? Now, as obviously the name suggests, if we talk about the location of the two, what are we saying? The Western Ghats are parallel to the western coast of India, and the Eastern Ghats are parallel to the eastern coast of India. Now, when we talk about what type of ranges, these are all mountains or hills, right? And what sort of mountains or hills are these? The Western Ghats are continuous. You can even see in the diagram here in the map. There are only some places where it's broken. These are where your passes are, where you can cross. Otherwise, it's a continuous mountain. Eastern Ghats, however, is a lot more broken because the rivers are flowing from here. So you can see Godavari is flowing from here, the Krishna is flowing from here, you have the Kaveri flowing here. So where the rivers are flowing from, you have basically some discontinuity in the ghat, as these are, they need space to go reach the Bay of Bengal. In terms of the height of the mountains or the hills, on the Western Ghat, these are higher, with an average elevation or the height of 900 to 1600 meters. And as you move from the north to the south, the height of the mountains continues to increase. If we look at the Eastern Ghats, on an average, you have around 600 meters. There are some obviously which are higher, but overall, on an average, it's 600 meters. When we look at the what are the mountains on the ranges here, again, if you look at the map. So, for example, you'll find Anaimuri here, right? So this is the highest uh, mountain here, and if you look to the Western Ghat, you'll see the Mahanadi River is here. So the Mahanadi Valley is here, and the Eastern Ghats extend all the way to here, where are the Nilgiri Hills. And here as well, you have the Mahendragiri mountain, which is the highest on this side, and you have the Chevrolet and the Javadi Hills. These are in the southeast. So here, right now, um, so again, this is just a brief sense of the Eastern Ghats and the Western Ghats. This third part, uh, which is part of the Deccan Plateau primarily, is called the Deccan Trap. Right now, when we talk about the Deccan Trap, so this is the name given to this region that is primarily, as you can see in the map here, right, the region marked in red, primarily made up of, again, so this region earlier used to have a lot of volcanoes. As in, when those volcanoes erupted, the lava cooled down and formed igneous rocks, and as these igneous rocks have denuded basically means they've worn down, either due to the water flowing or the wind, and the rock has broken down into soil. So these all of these igneous rocks have led to the formation of black soil. So this is, for example, where Maharashtra is, right, and it's known for its black soil. Now to the northwest here and western margins here, as you've already seen here, you have the Aravalli Hills, and these Aravalli range, whatever these are also one of the oldest mountains in India, and therefore over a period of time they have also become eroded. The height of the mountains have slowly reduced, either due to simply time or because there have been large scale mining taking place here, and these hills are now broken, and they extend from this Gujarat region to Delhi, right? So this is your Deccan Trap. As with the previous topics, I request you to just make the notes for this section as well. You can use the same division that I have used here, and jot down the notes in your notebook.